Good afternoon. So I hope you have some energy because we talk about sport. And it's my privilege to have with me on stage His Excellency Badr Alkadi, who is Vice Minister of Ministry of Sport of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Please a round of applause for His Excellency. And which is not easy to be in this male ecosystem since 2016, Fatma Samoura, the Secretary General of the FIFA. Round of applause for the Secretary General.
Thank you.
So I hope that the world of sport will not become what we see behind us with so many robots in stadiums. But anyway, I'm sure it will be impacted by technology. Your Excellency, we are here today, I would say, to share how sport has this capacity to empower future generations and to provide them with essential values, which is important, like discipline, respect, and teamwork. My question to you is, can you tell us more about how sport integrate into communities to drive healthy outcomes?
Thank you, Richard. So let me start by thanking the leadership of our country for the unprecedented support that has been given to the sports sector over the past recent years. As you may know, part of the Vision 2030 is the Quality of Life program. And for the Quality of Life program, sport falls in the heart of this program. Sports has a unique ability to unite, integrate, and inspire and engage people all together. Between 2015 and 2019, the participation in sport have increased from 13% to 19%. More interestingly is women participation in sport, which has increased by 150%. No doubt that the increase in participation has a social impact, economic, and health benefits. And as part of the National Sports Strategy and the recently launched Saudi Arabian football strategy that is supported and endorsed by His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal, we're focusing on diversity and inclusion, participation, youth development, and community engagement. All of those would result in healthy outcomes.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let's turn now to FIFA. Fatma, we were talking a lot about the future of sport and how all sport industry, including football, are impacted now by all these changes. So I have a more precise question for you about how can technology make the game better? And also, because it is connected to technology, what is social media? You know, we are living in this world of social media. What, I would say, social media role influence, what is the influence on football specifically?
Well, first and foremost, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Richard, for giving me an opportunity to talk about football, the most popular game on earth.
4 billion, no?
4 billion people.
Half of the planet are fans.
Exactly.
Wow.
Are other fans or football players or football officials. So a sport as popular as football cannot survive if it does not embrace technology. We are in a rapidly evolving and changing world, and many sports industries are using technology as part of their DNA. So FIFA embraced the use of technology to improve the game on and off the pitch. Today, on the pitch, to be more precise, data-driven supportive devices are being used by coaches, by referees, by doctors, and by match analysts to enhance the experience, but also to follow the performance on the pitch to play for players. One of the biggest revolutions over the past 50 years in football has been the introduction of the VAR, the video assistance referees. It raised a lot of controversy at the beginning, but when it was introduced officially at the FIFA World Cup in Russia in 2018, it changes a lot because it helped referees taking decision.
The right decision.
Yes, the right decision with informed data. It also allows them to review the action that impact the next phases of the game. We are currently experiencing a unique fan devices that will be used for the first time next year in Qatar. It will allow people who are in the stadium through their mobile phone to see live, but in a much vivid way, live this experience. With UNICEF and UNESCO in particular, we have developed an application that will be distributed to 700 million children in the world. It allows physical sports teachers in primary school, including in the most remote villages in Africa and Asia, to use this application as a game changer for children, because it will teach them life skills that will allow them to be better citizens, to accept to be defeated, to also be able to accept tolerance, because after all, football is a universal language. And no matter the language you speak, when you kick a ball to a child, he answered. So technology is in fact one of the pillars of the FIFA Vision 2026, which is the blueprint on how FIFA envisages the future of football.
Thank you, Fatma. Your Excellency, we all know how sport is becoming an amazing tool for economic development. We are here a lot of investors. It's an investment forum. So what are governments doing to invest in the game of football, for example, and ensure that it serves as a positive force for, I would say, social impact?
Well, few days ago, we celebrated the first anniversary of Mahd Academy, an academy that has been launched in Saudi Arabia. The role of this academy is to identify talents from the age of 6 to 12 years old. So this is an initiative that the government have done now to scout players at a very young age. This is number one. The Football Federation also is launching the regional centers, which looks after talents from the age of 12 to 17. So we have a continuation from 6 to 12, then 12 to 17, and then from 17 onward, they could be players in the Pro League. That's number one. Number two, we have activated a partnership with the Ministry of Education, where we have the school leagues. More than 124,000 students are playing football on that league. There's also the Neighborhood League, which has, in 13 regions, 145,000 kids playing football on a weekly basis. So all of this is to engage the community further and further and identify talents at a very young age. If we look at the football and impacts overall that the country is looking forward to generate, we have hosted the Global Goals World Cup, which combines the football together with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We also sponsored the Unbeatable Cups in Italy, and that's through Mahd Academy, and it's an initiative that raises the awareness and investment in scientific research related to cardiac arrests. And last but not least is a Zatari refugee camp for Syrians in Jordan. We just a few days ago, a football pitch have been sponsored there by the Saudi government.
So it's not only investment, it's also inclusion.
It is indeed.
Fatma, you and I were born in Africa. So how FIFA and Africa are working together, I would say, to develop capacity and talent for the next stars of game. We saw how African players did an amazing performance during all these recent cups. So what FIFA is doing?
Well, in fact, you're right, Richard. Africa is a continent that is passionate about football. But more importantly, Africa is a reservoir of talent.
Definitely.
We are the youngest continent in the world, and by 2050, we will be the third largest talent provider in the world because of our youth. First, I would like to say, if we want this talent to be retained at home, we need to take very seriously the problems of lack of infrastructure. Just an example. Today, Africa is playing the qualifiers of the World Cup 2022 that will be played in Qatar in November and December 2022. 13 out of the 54 countries,
13, 1 3.
1-3, cannot host home matches, just simply because they don't.
So they are playing outside of the country?
They're playing in neighboring countries for their home matches, which means that they lack missing a critical audience, which is the home audience,
And their supporters.
but definitely also financial support because they cannot broadcast with their own means. We need also to make sure that we have more academies built, not only for boys, because the large majority, unfortunately, of clubs only invest on the boys' game. The only country which I visited that has decent infrastructure to improve talent detection is, in fact, your own country, Morocco, and more need to be done. South Africa is doing well, but the rest of Africa is lagging behind. So what are we doing as FIFA? We signed 3 years ago with the African Union a memorandum of understanding where we would like to support Africa on 3 main fields. The first one is on infrastructure building and on security inside the stadiums. It is unacceptable in the 21st century that people coming to watch the game end up by losing their life because of improper security. The second is on governance. Money is invested in African football, but not on the right way, and I think there is a wealth of experience with the 5 years that FIFA has been living and leading the world football that we can share with a continent as important as Africa when it comes to football. The third and very critical support we are giving is the one that is led by our technical chief, Mr. Arsene Wenger. It's very simple. We want to detect the talent at a very young age in the African continent. And we want to make sure that we give them the proper path for their career. We want them to realize their dreams, but also their passion through an organized competition. And one of the ideas that Gianni has put on the table, and that is currently under discussion, is to make sure that every year we have a youth tournament that is similar to what we are doing for the Senior World Cup, but with a lesser requirement, so anybody can host it. We are also supporting CAF in the field of coaching and preparations also of strategy for the women's football in particular. As we speak, our teams are in relation with CAF to work also on the implementation of the security and safety in the stadium document that will allow one day and in the near future all the 54 countries of our dear continent, Riyadh, to be able to display the best level of game and with the profit remaining in Africa.
Your Excellency, the Kingdom is becoming, for the past 2-3 years, I would say, a sport nation, definitely. So many sport events. You will be hosting the Formula One in few weeks, and many more, and the Dakar, and. So what are, I would say, the main economic benefits that sport is bringing to the Kingdom?
So engaging the private sector in investing in sport is a key component for our national sports strategy. The sport contribution to the national GDP used to be 0.2% in 2016. This has increased to 0.44% in 2018, with a much higher target for the years to come. We're working together with the Ministry of Investment and other government entities to create opportunities and incentives for the private sector to invest on the sports sector specifically. Recently, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz, the Minister of Sport, have launched the NAFIS platform. It's a platform that enables the private sector to invest into the sports sector. Through NAFIS, you could have a private club, a private academy, or a private center as well for sport. On 27 different sports, in just 4 months, we have more than 60 approved private academy, 60, and we have 14 approved private clubs. Those clubs could go all the way up on the ranking until they reach into the Premier League and play with the government-owned clubs today. If I look also at the big picture and the corporates in Saudi, we find Aramco partnering with F1 globally, and we also have NEOM partnering with the AFC in Asia. So all of this shows how Saudi is investing into sport.
Thank you. Dear Fatma, we still have 6 minutes, but I have a few more questions to ask you. So let's try to review them very quickly because I really want to hear more from you. Let's be optimistic and let's assume that the world is recovering from COVID-19 and stadiums are reopening. So let's be optimistic, and I have a question. What are the next competitions to look out for?
Well, in the immediate future, starting at the end of November this year, we have the FIFA Arab Cup that will be hosted by Qatar in Doha, using 6 of the 8 stadiums that will be hosting the World Cup next year. This is the real test on the operational...
The reopening.
Yes, on the operational readiness of the country. And this competition is a substitution of what we used to call the Confederation Cup. And the last one took place on 2017 in Russia. It's going to be a very exciting competition because 16 nations will be playing, 10 from Asia and 6 in Africa. And we expect also that will be bringing joys to millions of fans across the Middle East and also the Arab world, and that will be also contributing to changing the perception of people toward this part of the world. The second one will be also the Club World Cup that will be staged also in this part of the world, and more precisely in the United Arab Emirates.
Everything is happening in this part of the world.
Exactly, in January or February 2022. But definitely the biggest and the most popular and most vibrant competition is the one that we all look forward to be watching in November, starting on the 21st of November to the 18th of December 2022 in Qatar. And no doubt that with the compact nature of this competition, where fans have the possibility to watch up to 3 games in a day, that is going to only happen.
Never done before.
Yeah, it's only going to happen in Doha next year. We'll see even record numbers of attendance. 4 years ago, we had more than 2 million people watching the game in Russia, and I'm sure for Qatar we will be beating this report and even reaching a much higher number of viewers also in terms of digital platform and on TV. But we should not forget about the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a question about women precisely. Yes.
The Women's World Cup will be staged for the first time, Richard, in 2 different confederations, the Asian Football Confederation and the Ocean Football Confederation. It's the first time in the history of football that 2 confederations will be hosting one game. It will be also the first time that we will be attending and watching an expanded Women's World Cup from 24 teams to 32 teams, and with the possibility of Africa to qualify for 4 slots and 2 playoffs, so to have up to 6 teams instead of 3 that we had in 2019 in France. And really, this is going to be fascinating because of the diversity of the culture in these 2 continents, but because also there will be a much bigger traction for fans around the world because many more teams will be coming, and because also it's another continent that we will be discovering through this game. A lot has been already done. Visits are taking place, so we are quite hopeful that the world will see even more records being broken compared to what we have seen in France. So you are all invited to support and also to attend the beautiful game.
And by the way, it is giving me an idea of asking a question to His Excellency, since we are sitting here with the most influential woman in the world of football. Your Excellency, I think we have 29, 30 millions of women and girls who are playing football today worldwide, if I'm not wrong, Fatma. So how are you investing, very short answer please, Your Excellency, and growing the women's, I would say, game in the kingdom?
The day before yesterday, I was having dinner with Monica Stab, the German coach that is in charge of developing the female first ever 11-a-side national football team. And tryouts are taking place. There are more than 700 players, female players, have tried to join the national team. We look at women empowerment as a key component of our Vision 2030. We look at it from 3 different aspects: representation, participation, and performance. When we talk about representation, Princess Rima bint Bandar is representing Saudi in the IOC. When we talk about participation, I just mentioned that female participation increased by 150%. And when we talk about performance, the strategy outlines a lot of areas to enhance the performance of athletes. Today, we have more than 90 female beginner referees. We have also 59 qualified coaches, and we have a competitive futsal team.
And you have an amazing deputy minister also.
We do have one.
Who is a great football player, by the way. Fatma, my last question, we have 1 minute. If you have one advice to give to the audience of investors, where should we invest in sport? We see so many investments recently in football clubs, in academies, but what is your advice?
On infrastructure building in Africa.
Infrastructures?
Yes.
In Africa?
In Africa.
So you are very precise on the geography and the sector.
And this is a plea to the whole audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for His Excellency and for Fatma. Thank you so much, Fatma. Thank you.
I have a small token for you.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Excellent. Oh, great, thank you.
This is also a symbol of friendship for having invited me to this beautiful event.
Oh, thank you so much.
And last but not least, this is
my God.
in anticipation for this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Hope you will have it one day, inshallah.
We'll do, inshallah. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got to sing.